Can anybody resist good homemade dinner rolls? I know I can't. Tender, fresh, and delicious, with a buttery overtone and nuances of yeasty goodness. Mmm. Did you know you can make dinner rolls like these start to finish in only 3 hours? You can, and I'll show you how. And did I mention, your family will love you for it. To make this recipe, you need a stand mixer, small pan, 1/4 cup of sugar, 4 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour divided in half, some rapid rise yeast, a stick of salted butter cut at the 5 1/2 tablespoon mark, 1 cup of milk, 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt. You'll also need a cup of water, lasagna pan, extra flour, bread bowl, and a dough scraper. Start by warming up the milk, pouring in the sugar, the butter, and the salt. Let the milk cool just a little bit, and then pour it into your mixing bowl. Make sure you scrape the sugar off the bottom. Add a cup of warm water and 2 1/4 cups of the flour. Add the packet of yeast, just pour it on top, put on the flat beater, and turn on the mixer. Mix the dough until you have a nice smooth batter. A few minutes at medium speed. Add the other 2 1/4 cups of flour. Switch to the dough hook and turn on the mixer. You're going to let this go about 5 minutes until you have a nice smooth dough. Ooh, doesn't that look fine? Now comes the fun part. Put a little flour out on your counter. Use the dough scraper to get that dough ball out of the bowl. Don't be afraid of it. Use the dough scraper to get it off the counter if you need to. Push it up with your fingers. You can put a little more flour on your fingers, certainly some on top of the dough. And you're kneading now. Just keep working at it. So pull it. Don't stab at it. Use the palms of your hands or your fingertips. Keep pulling it around. This recipe is available on www.woodfiredkitchen.com under Aunt Marie's dinner roll recipe, another Sortachef original. So that's looking good now. You can see it starting to push back at your palms. There's a dough ball for you. Put the dough in a bread bowl, cover it lightly, and let rise for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, you'll have a nice soft dough like this. You need to take a piece of butter to grease the bottom of the lasagna pan and put the other 2 tablespoons aside. So grease the bottom of the pan and the sides pretty well. You don't want it to stick. Toss a little flour out on your counter and scrape the dough right out onto it. You're going to spread this dough out and fold it in 4 before you put it in the lasagna pan. I've been finding that it's a lot easier to make rolls inside the lasagna pan instead of outside and then put them in. So I'll show you how to do that. So you're going to spread this mass of dough out. You do a rough rectangle. Let it rest for a couple of minutes, and then spread a little farther. Check it against the lasagna pan. When it fits, you're going to put it into the pan, just like it's a pan pizza. And then you're going to melt the last 2 tablespoons of butter, and you're going to pour it over the surface. Spread it out with a dough scraper. And now you're going to create a grid system so that you end up with 48 rolls. So you need to make 7 cuts down and 5 cuts across. So start in the middle, cut it right in half, and cut it in half lengthwise as well. And then again in half, and in half again. Lengthwise, you have to make 5 cuts, so it's 1 down the middle and into thirds to each side. So you end up with 48 rolls, just like you wanted. Now you're going to reach in and grab a piece of dough. Each one of those little rectangles of dough turns into a roll. And you're just inverting them so they have a smooth top. I did time how long it took me to do this, and it was about 2.5 minutes, working quickly. Since they have butter all around them, you don't have to worry about how they're going to rise. They can be big and small and whatnot. So that's going to sit now for half an hour to rise. Just before the 30 minutes is up, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Look at those lovely rolls. They're just about ready to go into the oven. And there they go. So once they're in the oven, you want to bake them for 20 minutes until they're light brown on the outside. You don't want them too dark. Ooh, look at those rolls. Man, I just want one of those rolls right now. I'm going to eat it right up. This is Don Hoagland, Sortachef at woodfiredkitchen.com. Flame on!